what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back again with another cryptocurrency video. Today we're going to be talking about Kyber network and doing an analysis and price prediction review on their KNC token, which is currently at the 40th spot with a market cap of $222 million. So smaller market cap cryptocurrency, up 75% in the last 7 days alone. So enormous increase. I wish I had made this video a bit earlier, but there may be a small pullback here back to $1. That is possible. And I have bought some KNC in the last few days. I think that you need to understand a little bit more about the network and the token itself to get how big of the opportunity for expansion is, with decentralized applications. But I'll talk about that in just a second. We'll look at their website, talk a little bit about the project itself, and get into some of the fundamentals. Of course, we'll be looking at the chart as well later in this video. But just taking a quick overview here, going to point out that the all-time high was at $5.80. As far as the market cap is concerned, that was a market cap of right under $800 million. Now, as you can see, looking at the price history here, just in the last few months, right, since January 2020, really, we've been moving up pretty much non-stop in a fairly linear fashion. We're even going a bit parabolic now, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks. Regardless, though, I think that within the next 6 months to a year, we're going to move even higher. So I'll talk about that more once we see the chart, but I'm looking at that $3 area. It's currently at $1.23. So that will be a 100% price increase. And like I said, for the time frame on that, I'm looking at 6 months to a year out. Let's go ahead and zoom in the past year. You can see that it had a low over here of right around 15 cents. And pretty much from there, like I said, it's been moving up. So we already have a over 1,000% price increase here in the last few months alone, which could seem, a little bit extreme. But what you have to realize is that this project has a lot of institutional money backing it and big investors behind it. I think that it was just a case of one of the altcoins that flew below everyone's radar. It was very undervalued for months, as you can see here. Very flat, not much happening. People saw that was the case, and slowly but surely, price started building up. People were accumulating, and look at what happened now, right? We have a 1,000% increase in the last 6 months alone, and much more gains to have in the future. I fully believe that this is a crypto that can get back to the all-time highs, by the way. And for those who are interested in purchasing KNC, Kyber Networks token, I personally use Binance. It's my favorite exchange to buy altcoins and cryptos, so I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. And like I said, that's where I buy all my altcoins. And you'll be able to support the channel by using the referral link in the description. I'm not sponsored by them. They're just my favorite exchange, and I use them myself. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the website. First thing that I'm going to point out is this right here, right? They say Bitcoin created the first token, Ethereum made the creation of new tokens easy, and Kyber Network makes tokens useful. So once again, they're targeting sort of a different aspect of the cryptocurrency industry, focusing on interoperability, scalability, and diversity, right? And you'll see that in a bit more detail in just a second, but you can see some of their partners. They've got some pretty big names here. We've got Enigma, ETH Lens, some pretty interesting projects, Icon, and this is what I wanted to get to. Who are they supported by? Who are they financed and backed by? Well, we've got some huge names here. Panthera Capital. For those who don't know Panthera Capital, you can take a look at their website. They're an investment firm focused exclusively in the cryptocurrency industry. They were one of the first and most successful venture capital companies in crypto, and they've invested in very successful projects in the past. Typically, a lot of the projects that they have invested in have been very successful. So when I see the name Panthera, that is a vote of confidence. Fenbushi Capital is a very similar story. They're just based in Asia, but it's very similar to Panthera Capital in that sense with their success. So very big names backing it, and I have no doubt that those companies were loading up at the cheap prices like I talked about, right? During this whole time here, especially last few months, I have no doubt that they were buying up at those cheaper prices because they probably know much more about us on just how successful the project is going to be, and that's why they weren't scared to really be loading up here. And even now, even at $1, this is still moving up pretty much every hour almost, it feels like. So in the last 24 hours alone, for example, we did peak out at I believe a dollar and I believe on Coinbase we peaked out at $1.50. It looks like $1.27 on CoinGecko. So let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a look at the project itself. Seamless token swaps anywhere. It's an on-chain liquidity protocol that aggregates liquidity from a wide range of reserves, powering instant and secure token exchange in any decentralized application. That may be a little bit hard for you to understand, but basically the idea is that a lot of these cryptocurrencies and decentralized applications need liquidity, right? And that's where Kyber Network comes into play. It can aggregate liquidity from various reserves and entities, and then through a decentralized manner, fill those liquidity needs, right? So the need for that in the future, especially, is going to be absolutely huge. Where we're talking about billions of dollars here. And in fact, if you look at the traded volume, right, I believe at one point they were even at $1 billion in traded volume. But right now, the last 24-hour trading volume, obviously they have gone up, so it might not be a 100% fair way to look at things. But indeed, they have more trading volume in the last 24 hours than their market cap. Not something that you see often, and on average, their trading volume is very high. So that's something that is always very important to see. And the higher the trading volume, the higher the market cap, which means the higher the price should be. That's sort of how things are, in theory at least, supposed to work. And like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail on all the little nitty-gritty things on the project itself. I encourage you to take a look, though. I'm sure you'll find a lot of really interesting stuff on how the KNC token actually works in that decentralized liquidity network. But let's go ahead and head on over to the chart now, and I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the technicals and the price prediction. Now, taking a look at the chart here, there's a couple things that I want to point out right off the bat. One of them being this very extended cup and handle pattern that you may notice. I've talked about these in the past, what that means for the crypto and how sometimes they can be very extended like this. But the idea is that we have the cup forming here, and the initial target area, just to point this off right off the bat here, is going to be this $3 area, right? Very logical area for us to attempt to reach here in the next few months. As you can see, we do have resistance there, so we can expect maybe a pullback when we test that for the first time around. But regardless, I do believe that we're going to test that within the next 6 months to a year, and I believe after that we could very well head to all-time highs and beyond. So just to point out, right, we got about over a 100% increase to that $3 mark, and after that we're looking at a 500% plus increase back to all-time highs and beyond. So very nice opportunity here still, even with the most recent breakout higher. If we look at the actual shorter term breakout, of course 80 cents was that very initial breakout level, and then logically the $1 mark, specifically here for Kyber Network, it looks like 90 cent was also a bit of a resistance level, and pretty much we've been in a straight line here right after that since we just broke out a few hours ago. And if we go ahead and zoom in, you'll see that we have not come back and tested this 90 cent level. So I fully think that we are going to probably get a small dip here back to $1 or 90 cents, and then bounce very shortly thereafter back higher again. So I'm not too worried about it either way. I'm going to be buying here at $1.22, and I'm going to be buying at $1 or 90 cents if we test those levels, which should be fairly likely. It depends on how much strength we're going to see in the short term with this breakout. I mean, it could push till $1.50, even higher before we get that pullback. But logically here, in the next few days, we'll probably get that pullback lower. We are very high on the RSI, but like I said, this is looking at the very short-term side of things, right? If we zoom out, what we have here is really just the very beginning of the breakout after the culmination of a few months slowly moving higher like you see over here, and then getting that breakout, right? So once again, about January of this year, even a little bit before that, November of last year, We started building up, and this is really the beginning of the breakout, right? Above $1. So in the grand scheme of things, still very, very early on,